Hello, YouTube. I'm ready to get bopped. Um, I'm the #1 ranked player on singles and currently working on ranked. I wanted to do singles first because they're faster, and now I'm trying out matches because I don't really want to play singles anymore because there's nowhere to go but down. Um, So yeah, I got 18 elo, rank 1 in singles. Gonna hopefully get matches here in the hopefully less than a week. Only took me 4 days with ranked, I believe, or with singles, and that was when I started negative too, because I had like a bunch of losses from when I first got back into Yu-Gi-Oh again. So yeah, here's my deck profile for my deck that I used to get there. This side deck doesn't matter at all. Like, you literally never go into it with Qli's. So I play 3 of every Qli Pendulum monster, which is 3 Monolith, 2 Scout. I played 3, but you're not allowed to. 3 Stealth, 3 Shell, 3 Disc, 3 Qliphort, 3 Helix, 3 Carrier. I also play 1 Towers. A lot of Qli players, now that Wavering Eyes is out, choose to play 2. I just prefer 1. I don't think you ever need to. I don't ever want to see it in my opening hand. I prefer to search off of it with Scout. That way I have more options, and when you have 2 in your deck, you see it even more often in your opening hand. And also, opening with 2 is like the worst thing in the world. I never ever ever want to see that. There's never a game I want to open with 2. A little tech card, Performapal Trampolix. It's a good card. Some players play more than 1. I prefer that 1 because while it lets you get off 2 searches from Scout, um, because you can bounce Scout back in your hand after using its effect, and then replay it and reuse its effect, because the card only says you can only use this card's effect once per turn. It doesn't say you can only use Qliphort Scout's effect once per turn. But I find that I almost never really want to play this card. I'd rather have Monolith, because Monolith is ridiculous for tributing monsters. You get to draw cards. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I find the fact that I can go into Towers, which is a ridiculous monster, and then at the end of the turn go +3. That's just literally stupid. That should not be a thing ever. That just shows you how broken some of the stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh is now. 1 Day of Peace. I like this card. Hate that the other player gets to draw a card, but it can really be a saver. And it's also just a little filler card. Upstart Goblin just speeds up the deck. Summoner's Art allows you to basically play 5 copies of Scout. Into the Void, a lot of players don't like this card. I personally hate it, but it just speeds up the deck. So I opt to play it. Some players play Pot of Duality instead of it. I'm not a big fan of that option because it makes it so that you can't special summon, and also if you get 2 of them in a hand, then it's just cloggy and you can't use them, and that's just terrible. And this deck is just all about speed. Wavering Eyes, the MVP in the mirror match. If you draw this and your opponent doesn't, and they have their scales up, you win the duel. Like that. Like, if someone gets off a Wavering Eyes on you, you should pretty much just scoop right there, because not only did they just destroy your scales, inflict 500 damage, banish 1 of your cards, but they also got a second Wavering Eyes. This is the reason why Qli is going to be dominant next format. This, and also because it's not going to be hit, while a lot of the other cards in the format, or a lot of the other dominant decks, are going to get hit. I don't think Qli will, though. Sacrifice, great card. There's a reason why it's at 1. It has too many ridiculous effects. I wouldn't play it at 3 if I could. I would definitely play it at 2 at least. Black Horn of Heaven. A lot of players choose not to play this because of things like Necros and Heroes where you can't use it on their summons. But I think it's just a great tech card. You could swap it out for something like Bottomless Trap Hole or Solemn Judgment. But I prefer this because even though the card says you can negate the special summon of a monster, you can actually, if your opponent pendulum summons 5 monsters or 3 monsters or whatever, however many, you get to negate all of them. That's only in the TCG, not in the OCG. But I think that's ridiculous, and Qlis are, at the moment at least, really dominant on Devpro. I think it's because Wavering Eyes just came out. And as I said, I expect them to be really dominant next format. So, again, I think this card will be just awesome against them. And I prefer it against something like Bottomless, because with Bottomless, they still get off their effects and shenanigans like that, where with Blackhorn, they don't at all. And, yeah. This side deck is basically just a bunch of cards I would love to play in the main deck, but there's just A, not enough room, and B, it just slows down the deck. MST, just gotta have that, especially in like the mirror match. But Wavering Eyes kind of deals with the mirror match, but it is also good against things like Satellars. Black Horn of Heaven, I'd love to play a third one in the main deck, but gets a little cloggy. I typically just put this in if in matches if I know for a fact that I'm playing Qli, or maybe Satellars. I always take these out against Necros because they're useless. Against Necros, I'll typically put in a Bottomless for one of them. Mind Drain, great against Necros. Nothing much to say there. Skill Drain, great card. I'd love to have it in the main deck, but it slows down the deck, and so yeah, I just don't have it in there. Same thing with Vanity's Emptiness. Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit, great card in the mirror match, but other than the mirror match, not that great. Like against like Satellars, it's not really gonna help you that much. Against Necros, again, it's not gonna help you that much. So really, but against the mirror match, I'll side it in, and if they use their Scout, you can chain this, and because Scout is counted as a continuous card, spell card, while it's in the Pendulum Zone, it negates the effect and destroys it, and they still have to pay 800 life points. So that's great. Necro Valley, MVP against the Tellers and BA. If you get this out against one of those, you basically just win, honestly. I play a Terraforming instead of 3 Necro Valleys because it thins down the deck. Shared Ride, I would definitely put more of these in the side, but just not enough space. Some cards that I don't play, that a lot of Qli players play, there's a trap card that allows you to tribute a monster and draw 2. It's called like Soul something, Soul Transition, I think. And I don't play that because even though it seems really good, it's just too slow. Trade In just seems too circumstantial to me, and I'd rather play something that I can use pretty much at all times, like Into the Void. I already went over Pot of Duality. Some Qli players choose to play MST. That's just personal preference, honestly. I already went over the reason why I only play 1 cat and 1 towers. I want to make this video as short as possible. And so I want to say that's it. If you have any questions, or if you want any advice, or want to give me any advice, just feel free to comment, like, dislike, whatever. Call me a noob for only being rank 1 in singles. I don't really care. But have a great day. Have a great day.